For Once Upon a Timeline. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully, we're live now. Yeah, it looks like it. All right. Yes, good streaming status. Let's see who's here. Live now. Yeah, Shanty like Moody looks like she was #1 this time. Yes, Chris good streaming Bohanon. Let's see who's here. Talking about the iceberg again. Tony, KSP Crafter. Shanty Moody looks like she was #1 this time. Looks like I left my own Bohanon thing on again. Let's turn that off. All right. You might have been able to hear that one, actually, because I did leave the sound on for the computer. Dark Wolf's Den. Shari D. QB, Rich B, Kai Lucas Zachary, Angela Ritter. Let's see who else? Sharkticon Nah. Well, welcome everybody. Okay, so what's going on here? Gotta find out where this one was from. Oh, okay, this one is from Thomas Larson. He found this old image. I don't know if you recognize it, but this is a kind of a stylized version of Japan, and it looks much more familiar than what Japan really looks like right now. And this is Japan right now. So you can see that there's like a lot of islands and stuff going on. I don't recognize Japan at all right now, but somebody said that Japan is starting to look like a dragon. This is the head. I actually think it looks a lot like a seahorse, but anyways, it's just weird. But you can see that this just doesn't look, especially down here. This shape is not anything like that shape. Hokkaido up here. It doesn't look so. It's weird. So somehow this one didn't change as or is not keeping up with the changes. So I thought that was interesting. And it looks, like I said, it looks a lot more familiar to me. So, let's see. Richard B. Catching Echo. Yeah, I think I killed that one. I left one of the windows open. That was a window to my own channel, and my channel was playing, so that was causing the echo. Okay, so that's #1. Next thing was, this one is from Crimson Avian, another channel watcher, and she mentioned the radius and ulna, which is this part here of the hand. There's your hand and there's your arm. And now way back, a lot of people remembered there just being one bone here, and then there was one big bone and one little bone. And the thing that this person has noticed is that lately the ulna, which used to be a tiny little bone, has gotten really thick, and it's in many pictures now it is depicted as a similar thickness to the radius. And I did notice there's something suspicious. I can't quite explain it. This little bump here on this one and just how it all connects, it has changed, but specifically the ulna is now very similar in thickness to the radius. So you'll see it on most images that they're very close in size now, which is interesting. Very interesting. I do really remember one being much larger than the other. So that was a very good observation. 2 thumbs up on that one. Let's see. I think that one... Oh, and then the other one was this one. This is from the same person, Crimson Avian. Also noticed the sacrum, which is the tailbone. It's getting very much like ridges, so it's looking even more creepy. This is very recent. I think these bumps are very pronounced now. So this was more smooth before. So they call this part the sacrum. So if you look from the side, it is not as pronounced here, but see, it's getting very weirdly bumpy here. Very strange. So it's this part right here. Anyway, so more changes. I think a couple of people have been saying they've been getting a lot of pain in the hip region. So I think this is just constantly changing. I mean, it looks nothing like I originally remember this. There was not this huge thick part at all in my old timeline. So that whole thing is totally different now for me. Okay, so there's that one from Crimson Avian. Good find, definitely. Have you seen New Zealand and Italy in comparison? The shape of Italy and New Zealand are almost the same. Let's see. Let's check out New Zealand. What's New Zealand up to? New Zealand. Oh, yeah, except for the break in the ankle region there. They are pretty close. Close you down. All right, so there's New Zealand. I don't think I can flip it, but... Now, for me, New Zealand was just one island originally, and it wasn't that long. Looks like this one, even right at Auckland, is thinking of splitting. That's something I've been watching for a while, but it has not made the full split, I don't think. I'm going to zoom in here. This is an interesting one because I was... Ooh, maybe it has. I was watching this to see if this was going to connect through here. And then I lost my whole computer. Ooh, okay. Wow, it looks really close. I was watching in here to see if these rivers were going to finally connect here and split off that last island. It's very close now. Just, there's only like a mile and a half left here before this bit is calved off. I'm going to put it to satellite here and see what it looks like. Yeah. Really just, okay, so this is all the way through to here now. This is looking different than I last saw it. All right, so this has gone through to about there. Oh, it's close. So really that's, this river here has made it through to about there. So it's about 400 feet left, maybe. There's not much space left in here. So anyways, I predict eventually that top section's going to calve off of New Zealand. Right through here, right through Auckland region. All right, so anyways, yeah, shape looks weird. But New Zealand was definitely a single island for me, but that's a pretty old ME. And it was right about there. It actually, in the last year, seems like it's getting closer to where I remember it. Because I remember it right here. Look at that. Earth is getting so tiny or something. Because Australia didn't used to take up such a big bite of the ocean. But yeah, New Zealand used to be really close for me, right in here. And then it was way down here for a long time. It's almost like it's drifting back towards Australia again. I've noticed my nose had a split or another line coming down the bottom of the nose, making a third line. About close to 2 years now, I noticed it on some women. I don't know about men, though. Like here, maybe? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, QB. Australia used to be the southernmost continent. Yeah, it was the land down under because it was truly under. But now it's just sort of one of many bottom-dwelling areas. will not zoom up. Huh. Computer refuses to scroll. Come on. Are you serious? The new computer looks like it's frozen. All right, we'll give it a few minutes to think about that. Okay, we've got that one. See anything else we want to look at while we're playing around over here? Zoom out a bit. It's been a while since I've faffed about with Google Earth. What's changed is there just seems to be a lot less water. Back in my old timeline, way back, you'd have Europe here, then Africa here, and then there'd be a whole bunch of water around it. You could look at both of them at the same time, and still there'd be water around it. Now, Africa covers the whole side of the earth. It seems like there's a lot less water now. Hardly recognize anything in Europe. You know, those clouds are not helping any. That's weird. Since when does Google Earth include all the clouds? Gulf in here continues to close up quite a bit. All right, I'm just going to shut that one down since I can't see anything with the clouds anyways. All right. Let's see if we've got this working yet now. Wow, looks like I might have to let's see if I can start a different YouTube over here. Okay, so most of you have probably heard about the weird rectangular iceberg. I kept trying to say it. It looks more like a glacier to me, but they're calling it icebergs. They're saying that these tabular icebergs are common. They break up off of glaciers, I guess, and then they are totally flat on the top with these huge sidewalls. I am not familiar with this tabular style. I have noticed that Antarctica now has a lot of this flat on the top and steep walls. So I think that's a thing for this timeline. But so basically there's been this rectangular iceberg that's making the rounds on all the social media that was spotted. The first thing I noticed right away is that they never showed the other end of it. I thought that was really weird. Now, there's this image way over here, and at first I thought that was it, but you could see it's not as sharp, and this is actually another iceberg that was supposedly right behind the first one. So this one here was actually here in the front, and then this one was behind it. So isn't that interesting? There's two rectangular icebergs almost right next to each other. They're saying that this one is another example of one, although it doesn't really look like much. I also saw this one that looks very triangle. But basically, I've never seen anything like these before. Let's see if we've got my computer working yet here. Okay, so what I wanted to know was, what's up with the other end of this thing? Why can't I see it? Why do no images show it? I mean, if they're flying over, you'd think you'd see the whole thing somewhere. I think that was supposed to be an image of some of them. But I did find it here, and this is the actual flyover. So you'll get to see kind of what the other one looked like. Let's get to the control room here. All right, I think it's working now. Come on, chat. All right, there we go. I think we've got it working now. Canada looked like it gained land mass. Yeah, or America lost land mass. I'm not sure what, but I have seen New Zealand sail around the side of Australia. Yeah. Africa's a lot more green. Oh yeah, good point. Good point. Africa's a lot more green, and also Canada. I've been watching Canada get a lot more green. Canada used to be just white with hardly any green, and it's been getting greener and greener. And of course now they have areas of desert in the north of Canada where they say it is too dry to have snow, even though there's snow all around and it's freezing. So that's pretty weird. That's only been around for a couple years for me. The rainforest is way bigger in Africa. Chaos Beat Crafter. Yeah, again, you see there's a drumbeat of fear in the media, and then when I'm looking at the Earth, it's doing the opposite. So again, you see, all of the forests are going to get cut down, but what I'm seeing is more and more forests every week. So I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, certainly before I knew about the ME, I would have bought into the storylines as being completely logical. Humans are cutting down everything, etc. So I'm not really sure what to believe on all that now. I mean, is there a timeline I left where we did cut down all the forests, or are all the timelines combining and we're getting more forests? I don't know. This is a weird universe. Yeah, I don't know. We had square waves. I think I've covered that one in the past. And square waves are even weirder than square glaciers. Square waves. Ocean. See if I can see. Here they are, square waves. Oh, there's some better video of it now. So apparently waves come this way and then waves come that way, and it actually makes the entire ocean checkerboard. So there you go. There's your checkerboard ocean. So to me, that's even more weird. There's some pretty good images of it now, more so than when I first did my thing on the square waves. Okay, so for me, that's more weird than the glaciers one, but let's get to it. Okay, I think that this sound would be useful on this one. So he's flying over, and somewhere over here, I think this one is the one we're going to see that rectangular iceberg, and then they're going to see the second rectangular iceberg that's not quite as clean cut over here, if it feels like playing.
A68 iceberg off of the shelf last year.
Yeah, there's the original
big
one.
square-looking iceberg at left is the one that became somewhat famous in the media over the last few days. Now we're crossing some combination of open water and sea ice. This big, huge tabular berg ahead of us is the A68 iceberg. It's about 100.
So let me go back.
Of the breakup of the A68 iceberg.
So you still can't see too much about
the big square-looking iceberg at left is the one that became somewhat famous in the
which I think is weird. You can't. Wow, that doesn't help any.
Now we're crossing some combination over the last few days.
You can't see the end over there of that one at all. But what's weird is this is not the angle that we're seeing in these pictures. So there must be more image of this somewhere, because these other images show it from more head-on view. Nope, that's not the one. So I don't know, but the ones that's making the rounds here, which is this, not you. I'm kind of out of it today. It looks like it had a different view. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that is just, but see this, the angle here versus the angle here. This one here does not look like a blowout picture of this one, because this one you're coming at it lower in the airplane, and this one you're coming at it higher. You can see by the angle of the edges, they're not the same on these two. So that's, I find that fishy, because in this video, he's making it out like he flew over and caught these images. But then he does mention that he snapped a few pictures. But how did the pictures get a better angle than just the video of it? I don't know. Anyway, there's something a little bit strange about that. A couple nights ago, there's a giant halo around the moon. It was beautiful, but it wouldn't show up in photos. Yeah, there's a lot of neat things that don't show in the photos. It's another thing I've been a little suspicious of. I've had some really nice halos around the moon since last year, so those are kind of old ME for me. But yeah, definitely no halos 10 years ago. And also, there's a lot of weird orange coloration around the moon a lot of nights, too. There may not be the whole rainbow, but a lot of times there's orange, and sometimes there is a whole rainbow. Square clouds and ice and waves. Yeah, I don't know. I think this reality is just full of weird comical stuff. Just imagine it. It's like Alice in Wonderland, you know. It just tries to become more outrageous every day. The nighttime hasn't actually been pitch black for me in a long time now, several months. Yeah, for me, it's been at least a year. About 2 years ago, a little bit over 2 years ago, I learned of the Mandela effect. At that time, the moon was no longer coming out at night every night like it used to. And I did remark that with the moon not out regularly at night, it was so dark. It was pitch black. I have where I work, if I leave after dark, there's not much lighting there. It's very hard to lock the door because you can't see anything. And with the moon out, you can't see the lock or anything. So it actually had gotten really tricky sometimes on a regular basis for me to lock it. And then it wasn't too much longer after that the night sky just got lighter and lighter. And so now I don't have that problem anymore, because even when the moon's not out, it's quite bright out. So it's been like a year and a half for me. It gets lighter and lighter, though. It's very light now. What do you think about the color of Pillsbury Doughboy's neck scarf? Okay, that one was making the rounds not too long ago. Just have to look at him. Pillsbury. Oh yeah, that was blue. Yeah, that one was blue. I mean, he was definitely colored. He wasn't all plain like that. That's one of the few examples where this reality has gotten more plain, because on average, it's gotten very bright, weird, more eye colors. A lot of the cartoon characters have a lot more coloration. So, yeah, it's interesting. Ooh, that one's almost like a residual there, because it's got a bluish tinge on the... Yeah, see, and again, a bluish tinge. Interesting, it's a very light blue, but it still is bluish. Anyway, yeah, it wasn't that plain before. Definitely not. Tony the Tiger has a blue nose. Yep, that's an old one also. Okay, let's see, where are we here? Okay, so I covered the icebergs. That one. Sacrum. Okay, let's see. All right, so this channel is going to be, this video is going to be mostly Bob Bobertson's finds. He's found a whole ton of them. So I'm going to get started on a bunch of his. Okay, so this one I'm not as strong on personally, but I'm going to basically take his word for it. I did not think that Macbeth was a real person, but apparently in this timeline, the famous Macbeth wasn't just a fictional character. It was named after a real king of Scotland. And I thought that was interesting because I don't remember it like that. And Bob Bobertson has been very busy looking through history and has been finding a lot of these. So anyway, Macbeth, King of Scots. So originally for me it was just a story. It's a very good story, but it wasn't real. And it's starting to make me wonder. I start thinking about a lot of these things, and you get these historical documents, and they say they're just stories. And then slowly we just uncover more and more evidence for these. And so another one that might be interesting is Atlantis, because there's just so much chitter-chatter about that. And a lot of things in the Bible, they said, oh, it was just stories in the Bible. And then they've been finding more and more evidence of the different cities and lots of various evidence of things that were in the Bible. So it just seems like things start off with these stories and then we just start finding the evidence later. It's just an interesting pattern for those. Okay, this is another one. I don't know if you remember John Lennon beating women, but apparently he admitted to it and everything. I think I killed the spelling on that one. All right, here we go. You don't have to imagine John Lennon beat women and children. It's just a fact. So apparently they're saying that, let's see. I read this last week, so now I have to read it again. Julian saw Lennon as an absent father who would criticize and even smack the sensitive. Julian, where did that go? Smack the sensitive Julian for things like having bad manners. Julian's table manners were, if anything, better than average. Throughout the marriage, John Lennon slept with other women and would leave drugs laying around the house. Of course, he left with Yoko Ono. That's old timeline. But then there was a second mistress in this timeline that's somewhat famous Emmy from last year. I forgot her name already. Pang, that was it. Something Pang, I think. But there's another part in here where apparently he hit women also. See if I can find that bit. Supposedly he admitted to it, so see if I can find that bit now. Nope. Because there's always a chance that it's changed. Oh, interesting. Okay, there's May Pang. She was his other girlfriend that he had with Yoko Ono. He admits to hitting women, any woman, and explains, that is why I'm always on about beasts. You see, it is the most violent people who go for love and peace. Later in the interview, he justifies his smoking habit with his macrobiotic diet, saying macrobiotic people don't believe in the big C. Well, okay, whatever. The whole thing is just weird. So apparently he was supposedly all violent and a big jerk, and he smacked women and children in this timeline. So anyway, I don't know. Never heard of any of that stuff. And supposedly he admitted to it, too. So I've just noticed a lot of the old famous people, especially the ones that are already dead, they suddenly turn into these horrible people. We can love Lennon's music as long as we don't defend his abuse. Okay, so Yoko Ono helped create John Lennon's Imagine. Anyway, just weird. Yeah, you would think that they would have heard about it, but yeah, supposedly it's fact. I don't know. It's hard to take any of this stuff seriously now. But every now and then they start in on some of my favorite old stars, so it's still a little bit upsetting. Yeah, and the whole thing about it's always the violent ones that go in for love and peace. No, that has not been my experience at all. Bowie was accused of statutory rape. No, that's interesting. I have not heard that. He was another one I just kind of liked his music and stuff, and I did research him. Now, statutory rape could just mean he had voluntary sex with a 17-year-old. So, that one I could see me not hearing about. Slept with two 15-year-olds. Yeah, I had not heard anything about that. Like I said, I've researched him over the years. I could see maybe that one not getting in there, but he was 20, they were 15. I don't know. Let's see if there's anything more salacious than that. She was 14 and Bowie was in his mid-20s. Huh. So it's a pattern now, huh? Ugh, the heck. Okay, so, I don't know. I guess they're all getting tarnished now. You can shut up now. All right. Emily Joy Eckert, I remember Madonna was just her stage name. Yes, that was the case for me as well. That's why she got a lot of crap in my old timeline, because she chose the name Madonna. And so people are like, of all names, why would you choose that name? And I know this for sure. This is a for sure one for me. There's no question about this, because this is something I checked into. So it would have been 1970s, girls could have lied about age. Yeah, I agree with you there. But I guess it's a whole storyline. He did this all the time. He knew their age, blah, blah, blah. So it looks like that's the storyline we're going to get from what I'm reading here. It wasn't just those two. She has played Madonna for so long, she actually believes this is her name. Nope. It's her mother says that her mother named her that, and her birth certificate has the name Madonna on it. So, people check Madonna name now. Okay, hold on. Let's just make sure. Yeah, you're right, and you never know. You never know. Madonna Louise Ciccione. Madonna was born Catholic parents. And Silvio Anthony Tony Ciccione. I think this is actually a Mandela site here. I think this is one of the Reddit Mandela sites. Yeah, that's Mandela Effect Reddit. Her official biography. Yep, nope, it's still the same. That was her birth name in this timeline. Rip Torn is still alive. Somebody did a video the other day. Maria is much more. Yeah, it used to be Maria. I do not know about Rip Torn. I just didn't know anything about that guy, so I can't help with that one. But all right, wait. I'm going to go back to what it was here. Oop. That's interesting because this is the third one down, and it is a Mandela Effect one. Maria Louise Ciccione. Yeah, everybody agrees it was Maria, just about. I haven't heard of anybody come up with any other names. And that sounds right to me. I know it was not Madonna. I just always thought that was incredibly cheeky of her to have chosen that name. And I could see why the religious people were so upset, because it's basically kind of just, it's flinging it in their face that they take their kind of holy name, and then, she's pretty risque and salacious. So I can totally see why they were upset by it. But I guess now that was always her name. But maybe for you, Bolting Pizza, it was Madonna always, but for me it was not. Maria. See, a lot of people remember Maria. All right. I don't remember Maria trying to remember what it was. It'll drive you crazy. One thing that really bugs the crap out of me is when I know it's changed, but I can't quite remember what it was before. And it's just like, I just want to smack my head. It's so unsettling. And then if once in a while I eventually figured out it's such a weird, pleasurable relief to finally remembered what it was before. It's amazing the appreciation I get when I finally clear my memory and remember the past properly. Okay, so got that one. Okay, this is a little bit smaller one for you computer gurus. Who founded Apple Computer? Do you guys remember who? I'll give you a few minutes to type. How many people and who were they that founded Apple Computer? Famous people in the computing world. Madonna is apparently her Catholic mother's name now, too. Yeah, nope. Not in my timeline. And that's a pretty weird one because it's not just random. Her whole history now is different. But yet it has a weird correlation to the old one. I don't know. That one, it's a clue somehow. What about Marilyn Monroe? Hasn't her name changes too? Not that I'm aware of. I do not recall. People say she looks different, but I haven't heard of anything about the name. Let's check it out. Marilyn Monroe is, yeah, her body weight definitely changes through the timelines. And the beauty spot moved. That one's, I can't swear to that one myself. I just didn't pay enough attention, but a lot of people say that it moved, so. So yeah, I don't see any changes on her name. Jobs and some other guy after Bill stole it from him and sold it to IBM. Okay, so I bet you guys never heard of Ronald Wayne. Okay, this is another one by Bob Robertson. The last two were by him. The John Lennon one, the Macbeth one. So apparently there's a third guy now that was involved in the founding of it. Ronald Wayne. So I guess people are just going to say, oh, people forgot about him. An American retired electronics industry worker, he co-founded Apple Computer with Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs, providing administrative oversight for the new venture. However, he soon sold his share of the new company back to Jobs and Wozniak. Later, so this is an interesting story. I'm sure they're going to say that we just kind of forgot about him, but I just think that you would hear this because this is kind of one of those, oh, that fool, if only he had kept his 10%, he would be a gajillionaire. You think you'd have heard about that. And they never once mentioned this guy. So, I don't know. I'm wondering if this guy, I think this is something to keep an eye on because right now he has almost no history in there, but he has been inserted into this history. And I'm wondering if his story will slowly increase and he'll get a slowly larger role in that history. Because that's how I've seen with animals and things. And I'm not 100% on this, but I think it's definitely worth watching this guy's history. Because right now let's see. So what did he do now? He provided administrative oversight and then sold his shares back for $800 and later accepted $1,500 to forfeit any claims against Apple. So there's not much. He just got $800 plus $1,500 and he did administrative oversight, and that's all he's done so far now. Okay, so anyways, yep, never heard of that guy. Overprotected. Hello, chat room. Hello, how are you doing? I thought I might have heard of a third guy. Wozniak sounds familiar, not Wayne. Never heard that name Ronald Wayne before. I saw a weird animal. How can I send it to you? Well, if you just say it right now, I'll look it up. That'll be the easiest thing. Oh, Norma Jean Baker for Marilyn Monroe. But yeah, that was just her. That was her real name. Oh yeah, Mortensen. That sounds vaguely familiar. I can't say that I knew. I can't say that I knew Marilyn Monroe as well as I knew some of the other ones. A little bit before my time. Okay, so anyway, Ronald Wayne, another one by Bob Robertson. He obviously really has been watching history. Okay, this is a weird one. I guess the spiders have gotten very intelligent. Oops. Spider alert. You're about to see one, but it's a friendly one. Okay, so apparently this wolf spider, I might have to go through some ads here. Okay, somehow it's gotten its feet all tangled in spider web, which right away is suspicious. The second weird thing is
wants the stuff off.
So the spider is letting him remove all of the stuff off his feet. I'm going to jump forward a little bit. What's weird is the spider's not running away, and he just holds up whatever foot they're operating on. I've never seen a spider get spider web and gawk all over its feet to start with. So that's weird. He just takes all this off, and by the end, the spider pretty much just kind of holds up the foot it wants fixed. So the whole spiel is, oh, spiders are so intelligent.
I know these guys biting. I feel like getting bit.
I mean, these spiders can run really fast, so, I mean, he could bail on out of here if he wanted to. Anyway, so a couple weird Emmys, just spider behavior, very weird. Spider getting spider web stuck on its feet, never heard of that ever. I mean, everybody's house is full of spider webs and yak. So, I can't see why all the spiders wouldn't have tangled spider web all over their feet. Well, see, yeah, most spiders are scared of you more than you are of it. Yeah, so why is the spider not running off? It's just weird. All right, I'm going to look up this Norma Jean Baker. Mortensen does sound familiar, though. Now it's bugging me. See if we can get both of them. At the age of 15, she married a man 9 years her senior, John Newton Baker. At the age of 15, she married a man 9 years her senior, and she married at age 15? I don't remember that. Oh, is that her mother? Okay, wait. Okay, Monroe was born Norma Jean Mortensen as the third child of Gladys Pearl Baker. Okay, so her mother was married at 15. Okay, I don't remember the mother history, so that could be it. All right. All right, so the mother was married to Baker for a while, and Baker was the father, so she could have been Norma Jean Baker for a while and then went on and changed and said, nope, that guy's a jerk. I'm going by the maiden name. So it could have been both. I mean, the Emmy can be sneaky, so this could have changed, and then I'll just be, oh, it's logical like this. I can't swear that it didn't change, but it is logical. I don't know. If you guys have specific memories on how this is wrong, then feel free to bring them up. I mean, the Emmy is too sneaky to be easily caught by just looking at that. This is like the crocs who are letting people feed them now. Yeah, the animals are getting weird. At least she gives spider alerts now. Because you guys are all freaking out over it before. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. If a spider's not poisonous, it doesn't bother me. If somebody tells me it's poisonous, I'm worried. But, I mean, I'm worried about anything that's poisonous, so. Can you scroll down to the 1-minute video with the sink on it? Okay, I don't know where that video is, so I don't think I can help you. I probably already lost it. All right, so where are we? Wolves. Oh, it probably was on the spider one. Okay, next one. Okay, so the wolf spider untangled the feet one was by a commenter on my channel named Ben, or goes by Ben. So good find, Ben. Yeah, spiders even are smart now. No poison spiders are good. They mow the mosquitoes. Yeah, also, we have a lot of problems with ants. And ants in this timeline bite really hard. Like 3 years ago, they didn't bite hard. And so they'd just be on you and they would kind of tickle. But now they really chomp and it hurts. They used to say that their mouth was not strong enough to really bite a human. And if they bit you, you wouldn't feel it. But you feel it now. May send a picture of third line down my nose or bottom of my nose on here for you to see. Yeah. Or if you can find something online that looks like it, you can link it. There's 2. 1 is just okay, I don't know what that one. Eva, I'm talking to someone else. Oh, okay, got it. Okay, so Wolf Spider by Ben. All right, we've got another pink lake in Australia. There was just the one pink lake in Australia for quite some time. All right, so this one apparently turned pink and just for a while. Now, the storyline on the old lake was there's already a pink lake in Australia. Let me see if I can find that one. I discovered this one a couple years ago. And there was only one. I think it was this one, Spencer. They didn't know why it was pink exactly and why the others weren't. Looks like there's quite a number of them now. Uh-oh. All right, my data thing says there's no data coming through. I don't know if I got cut off. Are you guys still hearing me? My sink had an unknown logo show up. Oh. Huh. Yeah, there's some weird stuff that showed up around my house, too. Okay, stream status back up. Maybe you just got some buffering. Oh, man. Right when I was reading their thing where somebody said, I'd rather have 100 mosquitoes than one spider, and then there was like a big moth right there, and it made me jump. Probably wouldn't have been that bad if I hadn't just been reading about the 100 mosquitoes and a spider. Fire ants are taking over. Ouch, ouch. Here's the thing. The ants that are biting, they are not fire ants. They are the ants that have lived here for my entire life, the little black ants. They don't have that lingering bite that the fire ants have because there's no poison. But they do hurt. They never did before. They also have more than one size. They used to all be the same size, but they have kind of a big, like warrior size ant now that you sometimes see. Never saw that before until about a year ago. Houston, we have a problem. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I guess it was just a little short-term glitch. Okay, so the pink lakes. All right, so about 2 years ago, there was just the one pink lake. They didn't know much about why it was pink, but they thought it was some kind of bacteria. For years, one such body of water defied scientific explanation, but recent research is changing that. Let me see how recent the research was. All right, it is recent, June 2018. So I guess they've performed DNA analysis. Pink don't sink. The lake's high salt content likely makes the water so dense that you'll float incredibly easily. Huh, weird. Okay, so what's the incredible research? A single species of bacterium called Selenobacter ruber was responsible for 33% of the DNA collected. Scientists suspect that this bacteria is the most likely source of the beautiful pink color, not microalgae. Looks like Mother Nature can't trick us for too long. All right, this is interesting because they're only talking about the one lake, but the title indicates there's more than one lake. So this is another one by Bob Bobertson, who's been very busy. So this lake here turned temporarily pink. And they're saying it's from a single-celled algae, pigments that produce pigments called carotenoids. So that's interesting because here's in 2017, they're still saying the algae. But here in 2018, they're saying it's the bacteria that did this lake. And this one was just a temporary lake. So it was just for a few months, and then they were saying it was going to turn back. But there was only one lake a couple of years ago. So here's the guide to the pink lake. So I'm guessing there's more than one now. But we'll find out, hopefully. Australia's pink lakes. Western Australia is home to many beguiling natural attractions, but its extraordinary pink lakes have got to be seen to believed. What? And now there's like no information whatsoever? Oh, here we go. Oh, this is the one. It was Hillier. Hillier is the one I remember. All right, Hutt Lagoon. Never heard of that one. Okay, so Australia has a bunch of pink lakes. It's interesting because a while back on Redcon, somebody from Australia was saying that, oh, well, we don't have pink lakes around here. And then I told her that you do. You have this one. And then she was shocked. But there was only the one. So that's definitely... Hutt Lagoon gets color from carotenoid-producing algae. They even have the name of it, Dunaliella selena, a source of B-carotene, a food coloring agent and source of vitamin A. The lake changes through the spectrum of red to bubblegum pink to a lilac purple. So the lakes are changing through the day now. Okay, so it looks like we just have Hutt Lagoon and Lake Hillier. But over here, I think we have not Spencer? Also Spencer Lake? Oh, no, that's Lake Hillier again. Anyway, so there's more than one, but it looks like it might just be two right now. All right, where are we now? So that was from Bob Bobertson. This one. This one. I've kind of covered this a little bit, but it's made a new It's made a new part to the story. Parasite. This one was hilarious. All right, now on that, I did some videos on zombies a while back, and I did cover this one. But I do think the name has changed. I remember this as toxoplasmosis gondii. It is now toxoplasma gondii. I do not remember it being toxoplasma. They're still calling the illness toxoplasmosis, but I remember the germ also being called toxoplasmosis. So basically, this one showed up maybe 5, 6, something 8 years ago. They started saying that pregnant mothers should not touch cat litter because cats carry this toxoplasmosis gondii, and in rare cases, infection with it can cause birth defects if the mother is pregnant. And so I knew a nasty person who was like, see, don't have cats, they're diseased, blah, blah, blah. But it was just cats back then. And it was only if you were pregnant. And now the story has changed a little bit. In one way, it's changed because they keep talking about how this minor infections of these, where they're saying that you'll get it. They used to say you would just get it and then it would be like the flu and then you would conquer it and it would be gone. But now they're saying that it lives on inside of various hosts and alters their behavior. So for rodents, it causes them to be more risk-taking and run out and maybe get eaten by a cat because it needs to get inside cats to reproduce. So now they're saying that if it gets inside people, people are more risk-taking and in this case are more likely to become entrepreneurs. Now, it's only a few percent more likely, so it's not a huge amount at this point. But this story keeps changing. And the other thing that has changed as an Emmy for me is it used to be that you could only get these from cats. But now it is possible to get it from meat, like other meat, like pork or something. Supposedly the cysts now exists in other meat sources. So you don't need to have a cat to get this. See if I can find where it said that on there. All right, so humans can get infected either through contact with cat feces or by eating undercooked, cyst-ridden meat. And I looked this up at another location, and they said it could be like pork or venisons are the most common ways. So it sounds like really they're opening it up to be in any meat. It's just more common in pork. Dangerous to people with AIDS, and if women become infected while pregnant, it can harm their fetuses, but in most cases, only obvious effect is brief flu-like illness. People assume they have gotten better, unaware the parasites still lurk in their bodies. The cysts might be in your brain by the millions, and they are full of little bradyzoites. Ugh, that's always nice to think about. Parasites probably haven't evolved to manipulate human behavior specifically. However, human brains bear many similarities to mouse brains, so the same mechanisms that evolved to lead mice into a cat's jaws may also have some accidental effects on humans. There's mounting evidence that latent infections may affect people's brains. You're more likely to get into traffic accidents, develop schizophrenia, abuse alcohol, commit suicide, make other risky decisions, linked to traits like aggression and disregard for rules. Anyways, I don't know, it just makes me laugh. So I guess cat germs make you be an entrepreneur now. Just weird. You can't make this stuff up. It sounds so ridiculous. All right, got that one. Shoot, I didn't write down who got that one, but I think that was Bob Bobertson again. Pretty sure he's the one who found that one. All right, this is one I found. All right, so this mailman gets attacked by turkeys. He's in California. Gets trapped in his truck by turkeys, calls 911. That was 2016. New Jersey mailman gets trapped in his truck. Let's see if we can get some video of this. What's weird about this is it's only about 6 months ago that I ever even heard of there being wild turkeys in this region at all. And people are like, oh, wow, did you know there's wild turkeys? It does not appear that anybody else has heard of it before a few years ago. So apparently now they're becoming aggressive. These are supposed to be wild freaking turkeys. And here they are heckling this poor mailman every time he tries to deliver the mail. I mean, these are supposed to be wild animals. Wouldn't you just, like, eat them? Look at running in traffic. What are they doing in town? So, I was kind of looking into this, and the storyline is that during the drought, I'm going to play the rest of it. That's pretty good. During the drought, they came down from the hills looking for food and water, and they just stayed. And that really makes no sense, because if they were really here for hundreds of years, this is not the worst drought we've had. It's not the first drought. They should have been down long ago. The drought then was over. Why didn't they go back? The whole thing is just ridiculous. And I don't remember there being any wild turkeys around here. Not to mention coming in town and bugging people. I mean, that's a good way to end up on a Thanksgiving Day dinner table, as far as I'm concerned. Well, either you guys have not said anything, or chat is not reloading. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, it looks like Grumpy Troll can be permanently deleted from... see if I have the power. Uh-oh. I might have killed my chat again. There's always... it's a rule that something has to not work. Okay, wait. There, it's going now. Anyway, yeah, just permanently ban Grumpy Troll, I think. We don't need that kind of bullshit here. Do you remember Disney films so early? Bambi released in 1941. Oh, you know what? They were all before my time. I don't remember when they were released, though. Can't help you. Dang, this computer's really... Bob Bobertson. Yeah, I feel like I should have a cartoon, and the cartoon's name will be Bob Bobertson. It's a good name. My friend at work said her dad got bit by a tick and became allergic to meat. Oh, that's funny. You just brought that up, because somebody I know online said that her dad got bit by a tick and became allergic to meat. He's allergic to all the ruminants, so he can't eat like cow or deer or anything with a hoof. He can still eat turkey and chicken. And yeah, that story with the tick thing, that was only a few years old for me. A few years old, they said this had started. A few years ago, they said this started happening. I'm wondering. when it officially started now. Bit by tick, allergic. What's the history of it? This thing is spreading, and so people are having to give up meat. There seems to be just kind of a trend about not eating as much meat, and I wonder if this is a part of it. So because of this, certain people have to cut back on their red meat. Okay, so they know more about it now. That's interesting. What causes meat allergy? They're on the rise. Okay, let's see when it started. This is interesting because a couple of years ago, they just discovered this. Now they're saying it's on the rise. She got bit by a tick, then 3 weeks later, after she ate an Italian-style pork sausage, she had a horrible reaction. It happened 6 hours after her meal. I woke up covered in hives. Ugh, nasty. She got a blood test to check for an alpha-gal meat allergy. When the test came back positive. Okay, so they have a test for it all of a sudden. She was told to avoid all red meat, including beef, pork, and lamb. Interesting. So 15 to 20% of patients with the alpha-gal allergy also report getting symptoms from dairy, especially high-fat dairy such as ice cream. No, this is not right. Okay. 10 years ago, Cummins was among the first physicians to identify the allergy in patients with tick bites. Back then, there was just a few dozen known cases. It was not 10 years ago. No. So that's spreading backwards in time. That was just a few years ago. And they did not have the mechanism. It was still a mystery. Even just 2-3 years ago, they did not have the mechanism. And it was very rare. Okay, so this whole section, right now it's only the Lone Star tick, but I wonder if this is going to be a new mechanism where people have to give up meat. That definitely sucks if you have to have hives if you touch it. We thought it was a parasite. Yeah, this is not the story I remember at all. People were allergic to meat. They didn't know why, and they suspected it had to do with some tick bites, but they didn't know how. All right, so alpha-gal is a sugar that animals make in their bodies, but humans don't. So we always immune response to it. How does a tick bite cause the allergy? It's possible that ticks inject the alpha-gal when they bite. Ticks likely get it from feeding off wild animals. Or is it possible that ticks activate the response in another way? All right, so I don't really get, though. Okay, so it bit you and you have an immune response to it, but we're supposed to have an immune response to it anyway if it's in our bloodstream. But if it's in your stomach, then why are you having such an immune response to it? I mean, you're going to immune response to any kind of protein that's in your bloodstream. That doesn't mean that you can't eat it and have it go through your intestinal tract. That's just weird. Anyway. All right, weird. So this thing's really spreading rapidly, though, this whole meat allergy thing. It's interesting. I just heard about that like 2 days ago, that somebody I sort of knew, well, somebody I know who knows somebody, her dad. Wild turkeys chase the mailman like dogs. Yeah, I know. Can you imagine some wild, delicious tasting birds acting like that and surviving? Turkey faces and beaks are horrendous. They're disgusting. Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty gross. Okay, so got there. All right. All right, this one. This is another one. If you people know your history kind of decent. I was something was on Reddit the other day and they started talking about Hernan Cortez. I'm like, who in the bleep is Hernan Cortez? Now it sounds similar to somebody I remember from my history, and we were always taught that the name was Fernando Cortez. And I remember, I'm pretty sure, I can't swear on this one, but I'm pretty sure there was a Z on it. I do not remember Hernan Cortez. It was Fernando Cortez. But supposedly, and I don't really get this, but let me see what it's saying right now. Name. Cortez was born in 1485. His father, Martin Cortez. Let's see. All right, somewhere in here they said how he got his name. Basically, they're saying his name was Hernan Cortez, but he signed his name Fernando Cortez and went by Fernando Cortez, but somehow everybody started calling him Hernan Cortez. It made no sense to me because I'd never heard that until recently, this word Hernan. It was always Fernando Cortez. Always. I thought this was a different guy at first until I looked him up. Let's see if I can find the Fernando one here. There. Cortez himself used the form Hernando or Fernando for his given name, as seen in his signature and the title of an early portrait. So-and-so also refers to him as Hernando Cortez. At some point, writers began using the shortened form of Hernan more generally. Writers just started using it? No, there was nobody. Why would they just start using the shortened form in the last few years? For me, it was always Fernando Cortez. People use the name of the person, not some short version, especially now when it's historical research. So anyway, so Cortez is now Hernan Cortez, apparently. Yeah, exactly. Fernando. Shari remembers Fernando Cortez. I was like, who the heck is Hernan Cortez? Ferdinand Cortez. You know, that does sound familiar. I wonder if it's changed a bunch of times. Ferdinand Cortez. Fernando. That does sound familiar. Yeah, interesting. Well, it definitely had an F, and it definitely was not Hernan, I'll tell you that. Yeah, shortening names are not historian conducts. Plus, I've just never heard of that until recently. I really just thought that might be somebody else, but knowing the Mandela, I check things out better now. Ferdinand Cortez. Never heard of the name Hernan. Yep. And all the accent marks, too. I'm not sure why that accent's over the E. Anyway, I'm pretty sure there was also a Z on the end of that, but I'm not going to swear to that one. All right, let's see. So that's one's interesting, though. It's a little bit more of a name change than there's a few more letter changes than we normally see. It's not just one letter this time. Let's see, monster. Okay, hold on. I dropped all my papers. Okay, now this one, I believe that I mentioned it a while back, I'm not sure if it was on here or it was on retconned. But what's interesting is this guy has changed. Look at all those little feet. That is the weirdest thing. Headless sea monster or headless chicken monster. It did not have this feet before. When I first saw it, though, there was only photos. Now we have the video. And I had a photo of this one here. And I did not have the video of it moving, so I actually had trouble figuring out what it was. But, yeah, the feet are brand new. Look at that. That's like out of Dr. Seuss or something. That's just crazy. And the way they move, it's just ridiculous. Like you would ever forget seeing that if you saw it once. Like anybody wouldn't have that all over everything. So anyway, definitely very Dr. Seuss. Next they will call Chris instead of Christopher Columbus. Yeah, who knows? His name will be Christoph. Or Christopher. Or there'll be some weird spelling where there's like 3 S's and 2 R's on the end or something. Did you guys see the painting AI did? Oh, let's check that out. AI art signed algorithm. Interesting. I mean, I guess it would just be all programming, but still. Working with artificial intelligence will be auctioned Thursday. I mean, they could have just told it to paint a face and then they added a certain amount of that moth is bugging me. They added a certain amount of ambiguity or noise into the painting to make it look less perfect instead of just printing it exactly. I don't think that would be that hard to do. Okay, so here's one I just saw. The galaxy is always getting new parts every few months. And we just recently got, put that one there, 3 rings. We now have 3 rings around the galaxy. See if this shows the image. All right, so there's our galaxy, the Milky Way. Apparently we have 3 rings now. These 3, and they're composed of stars that we supposedly stole from other galaxies. Astronomers find 3 rings of shredded galaxies and star clusters encircle the Milky Way. What's weird is this was in 2007. And I've been watching this, and there's no way. Well, I guess it could be that I didn't see it, but it's highly unlikely that I did not see these 3 rings. I've done so many searches on the galaxy. Spitzer supposedly found this now. So anyway, we have 3 rings now, and they've known about it since 2007. What do you know? I saw it like Kyokuk Monty knows once to know when I saw it. It was not long ago. It might have been yesterday or like the day before. Somewhere I saw it. But yeah, see, look, it's from 2007. So, but it's making the rounds now. 11 years later, and we both saw it on the same day. Unlikely. We both saw it within the same few days. No, we didn't. I don't think so. Rings of what? The rings, okay. Shredded galaxies. Let's read the spiel. 3 giant stellar streams arcing high over the Milky Way, remnants of cannibalized galaxies and star clusters. The streams are between 13,000 and 130,000 light years distant from Earth and extend over much of the northern sky. 2 of the newly discovered streams are almost certainly the remains of ancient star clusters known to astronomers as globular clusters. Never heard that word before. These giant stellar cities contain between tens of thousands and millions of stars. Though only about 150 globular clusters orbit the Milky Way today, they may once have numbered in the thousands. Relentless gravitational stresses inflicted on them by our galaxy have slowly torn them apart, leaving behind long, thin streams of stars. Once crowded so closely together they could sometimes actually collide, these stars are now separated by many light years. Okay, so I guess we stole the stars from globular clusters. I'm just going to look that up because I haven't really heard of that before. A large, compact, spherical star cluster, typically of old stars in the outer regions of the galaxy. Orbits a galactic core as a satellite. Yeah, I've not heard of those before. Interesting. Check out Cruthan's Earth's second moon. Yeah, they have that big rock that they're calling the second moon. That thing changes in size too. For a while it was a couple miles, then it was just a few hundred feet. When did that one show up? I think about a year ago. Mars has an active volcano. Oh, I think I saw something about that. And they said it. I think there's a big spiel about it having saline water. Not that I'm surprised at this point. Active. Oh, yeah, because they always said Mars was totally dead. Mount Olympus. All right. Recent volcanic activity on Mars. Oh, so they're saying Mount Olympus is not dead or dormant, but in fact an active volcano whose last eruption might have been as recent as a few years to decades ago. So Mount Olympus is no longer dead. Wow. Oh, that's a pretty big one. They didn't even start with a little dinky volcano. Mount Olympus is the largest known volcano in the solar system. Ah, okay, wow, cool. All right. Let's see. Let's look up that. Saline. NASA discovers liquid salty water flowing on Mars. That's the one I've seen in the last few days. Let's see when this one supposedly broke. It should have been in the last few days, but you just never can tell. Now, I hate it when they don't put dates on their articles. You'd think that would be basic. NASA, last week, with the promise of major science finding, today delivered news of exciting discovery. Scientists have detected evidence of salt water flowing on the surface of Mars. We've known for a while that Mars had frozen water at its poles. No, we didn't. That's another Mandela. This is the first evidence for it flowing on the surface. I can't say I'm shocked. This whole water everywhere thing. There's water on the moon now. Salty water flowing downhill is the best. But where does the water come from? Researchers have yet to narrow it down. Another possibility is the seasonal discharge of a local aquifer. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, then we got flowing water and an active volcano. I mean, it has everything it needs to have like bacteria and stuff now. Yeah, we're also on the Orion Spur. Yep, for quite some time. Life Matrix on board. Welcome. Remember the photo of Mars that matched a place in Ireland 100%. I don't remember it matching Ireland. I don't remember that. I've seen some that looked very similar to some deserts in the USA, but I don't remember one in Ireland. Probably has a Burger King now. Yeah, or a Starbucks. How would they tell that the stars came from another galaxy when we haven't even been to the closest star? Yeah, I don't trust that stuff like I used to. I used to just think really smart people figured it out. But now it changes so much. I just can't take it seriously anymore. Oh, speaking of not taking things seriously, here is an example. This is another one from Bob Bobberts. Some of these are just so ridiculous. That it makes me laugh just typing them. Fish farts almost caused a war between Sweden and Russia. All right, so apparently these fish farts sound like a radar image. And keep in mind that submarines are trying to hide from each other, so they're not that easy to find on radar. And so these, what was those beasts? This is, and they're herrings, which I thought was really funny because, you have the joke a red herring, which is like a false information. So apparently these herrings make this noise. Let's see if I can find the video here. I don't think this played for me very well the last time either. I'm going to put this on to make sure you're hearing it. Right, I don't think this is the right video. Oh, I have the sound off. That would help.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I don't think is it. All right, wait. Here, this must be it. I don't know what that last thing was.
That some types of producing a high-pitched buzzing sound. Schools of herring may use this secret language to communicate at night without alerting predators to their presence. But these flatulent fish aren't totally in the clear. Herring-eating whales and dolphins could be listening in as well.
Okay, so there's the noise. What's weird about that is it really sounds a lot like dolphins or something, some kind of sonar. But supposedly that's supposed to be flatulence of fish. The whole thing is weird for me. So they're basically saying that they would mistake these for invading submarines and that they almost had a war. The thing that makes it even more laughable for me is that Sweden was not even that near to Russia in my old timeline. This is one of the biggest map changes for me, is that originally Norway, Sweden, Finland were way smaller, and they sat right here on top of Poland, right next to Denmark. So Poland and Germany, and they would come off and they came up like this. So they got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then one day they jumped over to here. So I guess they almost got in a war with Russia in this timeline, but whatever. Anyway, just weird. Watch out for the fish farts. All right, here's another weird one. This is one. This is going on the books for I think we would have heard of this before. Okay, let's go with that. Okay, so apparently in this timeline, the government, shortly after Prohibition, was not happy that people were still drinking alcohol, so they put poison in the alcohol and killed approximately 10,000 people. This one kind of trips me out. This is another one by Bob Bobertson. I just don't think that this would be truth without having been said earlier. So they were trying to scare people supposedly to not drink. I just can't really imagine how they would come up with this plan. I mean, why wouldn't you just put something in there to make you like really sick or something? But no, they poisoned them and all these people died. So they're saying during Prohibition, however, an official sense of higher purpose kept the poisoning program in place. Normally, no American government would engage in such businesses, only in the curious fanaticism of Prohibition that any means, however barbarous, are considered justified. Others accused lawmakers opposed to the poisoning plan of being in cahoots with criminals and argued that bootleggers and their law-breaking alcoholic customers deserved no sympathy. Must Uncle Sam guarantee safety first for souses? Asked Nebraska's Omaha Bee. High-minded crusaders, anti-alcohol organizations helped push the amendment through, but people continued to drink in large quantities. Rigorous enforcement had managed to slow smuggling. Well, anyway, it's just weird. They started adding stuff like kerosene and brucine, acetone, all kinds of stuff. Up to 10% of total product. It was that last that proved most deadly, which was acetone. Let's see. The results were immediate, starting with that horrific holiday body count in the closing days of 1926. The government knows it is not stopping drinking by putting poison in alcohol, yet continues its poisoning processes, heedless of the fact that people determined to drink are daily absorbing that poison. The United States government must be charged with the moral responsibility of the deaths that poisoned liquor causes, though it cannot be held legally responsible. Anyways, 10,000 people, that's a lot, and I just don't think so. All right, and here's another weird one. All right, so according to this story, they raised Chicago by 4 feet in the 1860s. Like we even had the technology in the 1860s to raise whole buildings. But yes, so the story was that Chicago was built a little too low and it had a lot of problems with water on the roads. So they wanted to put in a sewer system, but they said the sewer system can't be too low or it won't work. They have to put it up high. And then they wanted to put the city on top of the sewer system. So then they just raised the city 4 feet so it could be on top of the sewer system. They wanted to build the roads 4 to 14 feet higher depending on where they were in the city. So it wasn't just 4 feet in some places. This would create the elevation change needed to make functional sewer drainage systems. So when they raised the roads, though, then the roads were hogging all the bottoms of the buildings. So then they raised the buildings. These are big buildings. Some of these buildings are a block long. What people didn't fully realize at the time is that the roads would need to be elevated that high, which meant either moving or raising adjacent buildings to that level, which is a dumb sentence because how would people not realize that you can't raise the road 14 feet and then not raise the buildings or do something? I mean, if somebody said, oh, we're raising the road 14 feet in front of your house, I know there's going to be problems with the height of my house. This is not genius. Okay, so apparently this is an image of the street raised and the houses too low. They then raised an entire city block. So supposedly this is them raising the block. Early in 1960, engineers had gained confidence that they could raise larger and heavier structures than in the previous 2 years. 1960, that wasn't that long ago. Lifted an entire city block on Lake Street. The image above creates a view of the scene as a 320-foot-long row of shops, steadily raised by 4 feet 8 inches by a team of 600 men using 6,000 jack screws. I tried to look up what a jack screw was, but I wasn't really able to figure it out. The spectacle was said to have attracted thousands, and on the final day they were permitted to walk under the entire block before the foundations were rebuilt. And still the most impressive feat was still to come, the secret raising of the Tremont House Hotel. Okay, so there they are, supposedly drawings of them raising this Tremont House Hotel, 1861. It's funny, they said 1960 here, but they're saying 1860 here. I think they meant 1860 up here as well. Although who can know for sure. Many of the visitors and guests were completely unaware as the work was hidden under awnings and shades. They ended up raising the building at a full 6 feet without a hitch. All of this sounds a bit too strange to believe, but in this case, history doesn't lie. The city of Chicago raised itself so that it could survive. Yeah, history doesn't lie. So they're saying this place was raised while people were all in it and they didn't even know. I don't know. This trips me out. This is another one by Bob Bobertson. But I don't know any construction fans out there or anything ever heard of this stuff. Yeah, tech before its time, definitely. They could raise a whole. I don't even think they've ever done anything like that now. I mean, they've got that skyscraper that's sinking in San Francisco. They can't even fix that thing, and that's right now. Okay. Oh, I think I'm almost done. Yep, almost there. Oh, I saw this one. Oh, this one is from Bob Bobertson again. It's the Bob Bobertson show today. Oh, wow, look, it's already been an hour and 46 minutes. I took like a 45-minute nap before I started. It's really helped. Yeah, hooray for Bob Robertson, and also thank you to my sponsors, especially Cupie. If you keep this up, I might eventually pay for all the stuff I've already purchased, although it will be a slow process. All right. Bob Robertson, a look back when Thanksgiving was basically Halloween. So apparently the story is that for a while, everybody was going door to door begging for treats during Thanksgiving. Well-lubricated adults dressed up for costume parties. Masked children roamed door to door begging for treats. Less than a century ago, this was Thanksgiving. For decades before World War II, Turkey Day was the day for putting on false faces. Weird way to say it, putting on false faces. In the early 19th century, poorer Massachusetts residents started begging, going door to door and begging something for Thanksgiving. As a bad joke, well-to-do children began dressing in tattered clothes and doing the same. The costume idea caught on. When Lincoln proclaimed Thanksgiving a holiday, they started marking the date with masquerade balls. New York brought the trend to the next level. So it apparently was supposedly boys paraded in high heels and old evening gowns. Girls marched in oversized Prince Albert coats. All right, they've got to get the cross-dressing in there. Stores started selling nightmare-inducing papier-mâché masks before the fete. Even if you're begging for food during Thanksgiving, I don't get how it became a horror show. Fantasticals died out by the turn of the century, but Thanksgiving maskers flourished. The practice of ringing all the doorbells and demanding baksheesh is a long past joke. So supposedly it died during the Great Depression because nobody had anything to give, so people stopped asking. Anyway, just weird. So I guess Thanksgiving used to be Halloween now. It's like everything is backwards and loony. Can you look at the Statue of Liberty's base front view? Big white stairways. Okay, let's do it. Images. All right, what are we looking for? Big white stairways on the two square base pieces on a lot of pictures I keep seeing. All right, so we need to see big white stairways. Oh, this one. I've seen those before. This thing. I've seen that on some images before. Going back a few months. I don't know what that is. It's on some, but not others. Yeah, I've seen that. Although it looks a little different than I remember it. Yeah, I don't know what that is, though. It's weird. Yep. Yeah, huh. See if it'll even say. Yeah, not seeing. It's weird how stuff will show in images that you can't find any explanation for it anywhere. See, you can see there, and it looks like the star structure has an interior star structure and some squares, designer squares now. That was not the case before. You can see that those white things are not present everywhere. This is when you need an unaffected person to come in and say, oh, it's blah, 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 and it always has been that way. So we will know what they're talking about. Yeah, see, it's those things there. The last time I saw those, I tried to figure out what they were. But again, you just click and click and nobody mentions them. So gift shops, the patina, blah, blah, blah. The usual, but not any useful information. So yeah, I don't think I could figure it out this time either. It's weird because it looks like a fairly permanent type of structure. See if we notice any changes. Same number of points on the hat as last time. It looks like she's got kind of a bulge on the forehead up here. It looks like there's a couple lines. See if we can see. It looks like there's a little bit of a furrowing up here. I don't remember that furrowing. Oh, not realistic image. All right, so yeah, nope, sorry, can't figure it out. At least didn't. History is constantly changing. Yes. Yep. You can check a paragraph and then come back to it. Did she not previously look larger than her plinth? Yeah, I covered that a number of months ago. She's a lot shorter now. A lot shorter. Yeah, let's look at that. She was almost, the back foot was almost off. I don't know how it can get any higher. She'd be standing on one foot if that foot comes up any higher. I guess she could stick it out to the side or something. Still pretty high. It seems like the robes are really gathered up a bunch too. I used to didn't even see her feet. But in order to see that much foot, the robes are all weirdly gathered up. It looks goofy now. You know, and the shoes, they look more like modern shoes. It's weird. It looks sort of normal from the front, but when you get back here, check the backs of things. You find a lot of changes. Yeah, you know, it looks like it's still a little higher. It's kind of swooping out to the side now. Instead of just like that, it's kind of angled off to her right. Like she's knock-kneed or something. That's interesting. I don't know how more obvious it can get. All right, let's see. Let's check our heights. Okay, there's the image we always use. All right, I think that's about the same as last time, 151. See, it's weird how they count part of the pedestal as part of her, part they don't. But I think this is the same as last week. I don't think that this line went all the way to the bottom, though. I think it went to here last time. So maybe... Oh, you know what? Yeah. Yeah, okay. I think that the pedestal has shrunk a little bit. I think that this measurement here used to be to the top of the star instead of all the way to the ground. Because for a while there, the pedestal, all of this was a little bit bigger than her almost. But I think that this just shrunk down some, and then the star thing has grown. But I think it might be a little bit shorter overall than it was. That's what's so tricky. See, they'll keep the measurements the same, but they'll from where they start and stop changes. Like, if you're measuring the Statue of Liberty, why would you start down here? You would start at least at the green part, where it was actually the statue. You wouldn't use part of the pedestal and call it base to torch. There's no sense in that. And then this measurement here looks like it's starting at the top of the green thing. So there's no sense to that. Looks like there's some doors or something in the star now too. I don't remember that. I also don't remember these little cutouts here at the bottom of this pedestal. Let's see if I can find anything else. Yeah, look. See, there's like doors in there. Or cutouts. Those weren't there like that before. And the doors here, I'm not sure about those, but I don't think these doors were here. Doors maybe, but not these doors down here. And look. Oh, interesting. Okay, I guess that's how you get in then, huh? Yeah, for a long time, this one was, it was really interesting for a while when people first noticed that she moved to Liberty Island. There were a number of videos where people showed that this star was still back over there on Ellis Island. And it was just like a star-shaped platform with nothing on it. And then a number of months ago, I suddenly noticed that the star had gone back underneath the Statue of Liberty at Liberty Island. It was no longer an Ellis. So this whole mess just constantly changes. That's one of the really trippy ones because I could not find the videos I had watched where this star was back on Ellis Island for quite some time. Her hair sure is puffy. Yeah, the hair has changed a lot from where it used to be. There was a while I was saying it looked like certain manga style hair or something. This kind of poof, and then it's really weird looking hair. She used to have pretty normal hair. Look, see there, you can see there's a little bit of brow furrows here. This is new. She did not have these brow furrows. I think this came down more and was like this. I think there might have been a little changes there. Yeah, this hair has changed recently. Okay, so there's been a number of changes even since last week. This hair came down here more, and then it came across. It's got more of a weird center part now. Yeah, that has changed. Oh, weird. And these side bobs have gotten bigger, and this middle part has gotten smaller. Yeah, these side bobs. And these ribbon things have really continued to grow, too. The whole hair thing is, it did not used to look like that. It used to be pretty normal. Look at that expression. Oh, is that supposed to be Miley Cyrus? Okay. To say it does not look right. Oh, interesting. Look. This thing has gotten bigger. That thing is a lot bigger. Okay, so there's been quite a few somewhat subtle changes, but okay. Back. See if I can find a good one. Where's the back of head, people? Yep. I don't think this is supposed to be her, but it's a copy. This has gotten a lot bigger here. Oh, and it's hair again. For a while, this did not look like hair. Let me see if I can find the real statue again. See how it looks. Okay, yeah, that's hair now. For a while, the wavy patterns were only up here. This has gotten bigger, and it's hair. For a while, it looked like some kind of fabric thing, because it didn't have the wavy patterns of the hair. Yep, it's gotten a lot bigger. That whole head thing, I don't know what's going on with the head, but it's ridiculous. Okay, so yeah, I think there's a lot of subtle changes on there. Definitely. All right, let's see. What's wrong with the nose? Yeah, the whole face is different. Just got that thick Roman-looking nose. It's very masculine now. She used to be fairly feminine-looking. I think I'm going to make a quick run-through on... Computer seems to be working fairly well. Did I do Rushmore with Lincoln's hand? Yes, that's been done many times. I'm going to just run through some of these indicator MEs and see what I see anything. I haven't even looked at these. It's been a pretty busy week. I'm probably going to be moving my business to a new, larger facility, so it might be kind of mass insanity in a few weeks, because I'll have to get it all moved. Because when I'm moving, I obviously can't operate business, so it has to get moved very quickly. All right, so will you load or will you not load? Okay, this is one I've been keeping an eye on. I swear that these are really simple now, the ligaments. For a long time, they would just swirl around here and go over there, and it looked ridiculous, and it looked totally inefficient. It looks really cool now, so that's why I have that one up. I mean, this is really logical compared to how it was. It used to be so complicated you couldn't even remember. Okay, we have white line underneath again. Back to my original. There hasn't been a lot of changes on here, but I have noticed that this background, I think these might be shuffling closer and closer together, because this background pyramid has been getting larger and larger slowly on these. Okay, this does not look too different. This is the progenitor of Mount Rushmore, supposedly. Oh, this is one I almost forgot to mention. We've been talking before about how these little pinky toes are coming around the side, and the toes used to be up here more on the end. One problem I've started having lately is when I play sports, my pinky toe is getting mashed, because I'll have to put my foot to the side. Like if you want to run left, you have to slam your foot to the right and launch off. And it just seems like there's too much pressure on the pinky toes when I run around a lot on the court. And both pinky toes have been getting sore. Would have to try some different shoes. But I don't think that would have happened before, because they were more out on the end. And so when you put pressure on the side of your foot, it did not involve the pinky toe. But now that pinky toe is kind of getting the brunt of that pressure. So hopefully the foot will resolve that issue as its final form. But right now my pinky toes have not been happy. Okay. All right, this is supposed to be the even earlier plan for Mount Rushmore before this head fell off. I don't see any obvious changes on there. Doesn't. So supposedly they were going to do it like this, but then they were doing this head, it fell off, and so they changed everything. I don't see how they would get the current mountain to look like this anyway, though, but whatever. Okay, no obvious changes on there. Coronado still looks the same. This God might be another hair tick down lower, I think. You can see this female is totally turned into a female now. It's pretty ridiculous. God has his arm around a naked female. You know, the other thing weird is there's something going on here with this. Maybe you guys can remember. I'm a little confused. I don't remember them having one sleeve but not the other sleeve. And I think that this was a sleeve of white here. I don't remember this naked old flabby god arm like that. So right now he's got this one white sleeve here but nothing on this arm. I don't remember it like that. And I think it's just a little bit lower. So there's something funny going on. I think this exposed arm has changed. You know, and I think maybe it's a little shorter on the leg here too, that we're seeing more leg now. Oh, this whole mess is weird. This area here is really chopped now. Yeah, no. It's not right. It's not right. All right, what else we got? Come on, little computer. There we go. Not seeing anything super obvious on those. Looks like there might be a little bit more neck wear up here. A little bit more danglies. I'm not 100% on that one, though. This bird poop here is new. I don't remember that. I think that's a bird poop. Because this is the same image I saved before, so it should always have the same stuff on it. Yeah, no. Yeah, I think that one new bird poop. Right. Scratches, I think, are the same. Stomach, I keep thinking this one will change, but it has not changed an iota as far as I can tell. I keep expecting this area to pinch off more, but it's still pretty much the way I remembered it when I took this photo. Let's see, those guys. The one thing I've noticed lately is the area above the eyes is becoming very dome-like. It's like they got a monobrow up here. And that is somewhat new for me. I think I saw that last week, but I forgot to mention it. I was just taking this whole image because I wanted to see how much this is cut off. It looks like this area is getting more and more cut off over here. Something to keep an eye out on. There is my weird, ever-changing house on a hill that I keep an eye on. There's kind of a weird story. On this one, we had a nasty heat wave, and it scorched the leaves all here on these avocados, and then they cut all these avocados down, and so underneath was just rocks. But then weirdly, like sections of the mountain are just turning to rock bit by bit. It would take like 2 months to clear all that, 2 or 3 months really, and it suddenly will be a big chunk will be done. But the weird thing is I never see any workmen on the hill. There's never any trucks. There's never anything on that hill. So I don't know how that work is getting done because it's a massive amount of work. So I don't know. Weird. See, this cleared area is now everywhere. It's all down here. I keep thinking I'm going to find it in the in these old photos, but it hasn't. It has not changed in these old photos. Okay, so here's the mysterious hand. There's the lapel. And then what is this thing? I still have not found any explanation for that. But if you count the lapel could be part of a gun. So a lot of people are talking about that. But still have not deciphered what that is. Doink. know. Do we see any changes here? Nothing super amazing since last week. See, keep trying to figure out what this is. It's my pet peeve now. Oh, his hair is getting a lot more like this one. That one was there last week, though. Looks like he has a band-aid on his nose. The quality of the rock in this timeline for Mount Rushmore is a lot more inferior. Keeping an eye on this one. Unfortunately, I haven't memorized enough. It could probably change. I'm not sure if I notice. Okay. I think this one's gotten a little bit bigger, but... thirsty. Notices any changes in there? Oh, I don't know. Do you guys notice anything? Let me see if you guys have seen anything. This community is so small, same people in all the chats. How does that make any sense? Yeah, you got a point. Because we'll have, people will have 10,000 subscribers. Now, it's fairly commonly accepted that only about 10 or 15% of people who are on a message board or a chat or whatever will actually say anything. Most people are lurkers. But even so, if there's if you get 4,000 subscribers, then there still should be 400 people posting and chatting and stuff. So it is a little bit weird. I've made my own flip-floppers Emmy list. Yeah, the flag is a big flip-flopper for me. Looney Tunes and Fruit Loops. Those are huge flip-floppers for me. I don't remember it being that much of the colors, but maybe from cleaning or not cleaning the statue. Yeah, the statue got really dirty about 2 weeks ago. They're saying it's from smog from the city, but it wasn't filthy like that like last month. Not for me. His extended arm has a sleeve that is being pulled back towards the shoulder. It was never like that before. It was almost down to his elbow. Yeah, I don't remember seeing a flabby man arm. It makes him look just kind of weakened. It used to be he was kind of covered, so he was God, so you had this white robe thing. So it's getting humanized. The picture of God showing his backside. We'll check that one out in a minute. Let me get through these other ones here. Yeah. That one, when I first saw it, you only saw a little bit of his backside. Ooh, I think I'm already through them all. You only saw a tad of it. But now, then when I saw it later and later, more and more of his butt was showing. So people were saying, oh, well, you probably just didn't know about it. Well, first of all, it's likely that you would hear something so ridiculous. But second of all, when Emmys just happen, they often morph rapidly right after they show. And I saw that one morph quite a bit. So I think it's quite likely that that is an Emmy. All right, so there, his God's butt. Yeah, see, when I first saw it, it just showed a little bit, but you can see some of his hip now. Oh, it really looks like maybe some of the leg will even start showing. Yep. This hip part was not showing before. So I don't know. That's just ridiculous. They would never put that in there. That is just ridiculous. I don't even buy that. They would just never do that. My old timeline, they never would. It doesn't even make any sense. So yeah, that one's still morphing. So I don't know what the plan is there, but I don't even want to speculate at this point. Adam's belly looks bloated. Yeah, I think some of it's that new musculature structure. What are they calling it? It's not God and man anymore. That was what it was for a while. It's I can't remember the name. Creation of Adam is what it's called in this timeline. For some timelines it was called God and man. It's weird because you put God and man in and they know you're talking about the creation of Adam. It knows. All right. I think that the thing that you're seeing is the musculature of the man's abdomen. There's a big muscle right there where the hips are. Like it makes it look like love handles. And you'll look at the weightlifters now. They have a big bloated stomach. They used to have a pretty tight stomach. And I think that that's just how... I mean, it's not my favorite look, but, you know, it might be an in-progress thing. But if you look at, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger... Let's look at old pictures of Arnold. Because those have definitely changed. He's gotten more muscular than he was. And his stomach sticks out more than it did. See, look, that wasn't how he looked before. You see there's these muscles that come around here, and they're like love handles. So I think that's what we're seeing with the God and man. Shouldn't have taken it down. Is that painting is changing so that it matches. See if we can get a decent looking image of it. That one's not very big. Nope. Nope, nope. There, that one's not too bad. Okay, so actually that one does suck too. All right, so you get this this pooch through here, but I think it's those muscles on the side and then the stomach muscle. See, he has it too. He's got this muscle here. And then if he squished up his body a certain way, you start to see this there too. So I think that's... Look at how high the muscles are up there. The breast is weird looking now. Anyway, so those muscles kind of freak me out. Men didn't used to have like love handle muscles. And so whenever I see that, it looks like a little roll of flab. But I think that that's what that roll of flab is. It's the muscles under there. Then you get the muscles way high up here now. And since he's all kind of squinched over weird, you know, the little bit of stomach will come out. So... it's not my favorite look. I like the old look. You know, I don't mind the muscles on the abdomen, but this muscle through here makes them... It just looks like a roll of fat to me. God can really pick up chicks. Yeah, see, those were all little cherubs before. They were little... cute little smiley blonde children, like babies, and slowly they've gotten older. Like this one here looks like a teenager or like a 12-year-old, and this one turned into a female with boobs, and Some of them look all miserable and weird. They used to be just cute little kids, so it's just creepy. Must be the brain is changing again, so the art has to change. My old timeline, I don't think it had that it mirrored the shape of the brain. But even so, I mean, it could change in a way that didn't make one of them turn into a female. So there was many ways that it could have conformed, but it chose that route. So that's just creepy. I don't remember it being that much of a colors. Yeah, neither do I. But that's been around for a while that way, like a few years for me. House roofs seem to have pipes sticking out. I'll have to check into that. I don't know about that one. Yeah, I know. I'm way into overtime. That's what happens when I take a nap. Now I'm not all sleepy. It's amazing what just like a half-hour nap can do sometimes. All right, anyway, but it is 2:20, and I don't want to stay up all night because I've got a lot of work tomorrow. So I think it's about time for me to cut on out. Look see, I'm falling off the screen. I do that sometimes, and then by the end, I'm like not on there anymore. All right, guys. So thanks for coming. Appreciate it. And this is the end for this episode of the Bob Bobertson / Once Upon a Timeline show. Thank you all for coming.